Hey, this is Cece for Scrapbook Centrale. Today I have a coloring technique for you. I'll be showing you how it's possible to achieve this beautiful, well-blended look using water-based markers. For this technique to work, it's very important to use a waterproof ink to stamp your image. I'm using Archival ink by Ranger. You could also use Stays On. I've gone ahead and stamped my image, which is from Outlines, and it's number I1149, and it's called Flowerful 1. Stamped it on watercolor paper, which is the other must for this technique. So Archival ink, watercolor paper. You'll also need water-based marker. Any brand will do. Here I just happen to have the Tombos. What we'll use to blend the colors together is the Dove blender pen. And the Dove blender pen is great because you can also refill it, and you can also change your nibs. Alright, so I'm zoomed in to the max here so that you can really see what I'm doing. I have my three colors here, and I'm going to take my lightest color and my blender pen, and I'm going to uncap both of them. And this is kind of crucial because you don't have a lot of time to react. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it my lightest coat, and I'm going to work in small sections at a time. So what I'm doing right now is actually laying down my color right here, not extending it all the way to the end, because then I take my blender pen and I grab sort of like, I would say, the last third of my color, and I'm just going to bring it all the way to the edge of my petal here. And it's going to look more obvious when I keep going with the other colors. So again, my lightest color, and I'm just going to grab the edge of that color and bring it all the way to my line. So I'm gonna keep repeating that. So I'm just gonna keep going here. Again, always working one petal at a time, or one small area at a time. And you can see that the blender pen is doing its job. It's just, I'm kind of going in a circle, and it's bringing the color all the way to the end of my petal. Now, this is my first color, and this is what I do. I have a spare piece of paper, could be watercolor or any other one, any scrap piece of paper will do, and I'm just going to scribble on this to get rid of the color. And now I'm ready to move on to the next. I'm going to grab my medium value color, and this time I'm not going to go as far as I did with my light yellow. Again, working in small areas, one small area at a time. And I'm going to bring that color further, but not all the way to the end, just a little bit further. I'm going to do the same here. And you can see the different yellows really taking shape here. It just adds depth to an image. This. And now we're going to move on to the darker color, which is an orange. And what I'm going to do with the orange, because it's a very bright color, I'm just going to put a faint outline here around, just at the beginning of my petal, and I'm just going to blend very close to that line that I just added. And what I do often is, you'll see me rinse my marker quite often when I use my darker color, because I really don't want to bring that orange too much. And then sometimes also what I do, if I find that there's not enough white space here to give it more depth, I would take my blender pen and kind of like repel the color in. So that's another trick that you can use. So I'm just going to keep going around here. I'm going to give it another blend. And you can see that I'm working in very, very small areas at a time. It's one of those things that you don't want to rush. So I've got part of this flower done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on my whole design, come back later and show you. There's my finished card, and this image in particular is quite intricate, so it probably took me 20 minutes to half an hour to complete, which isn't bad. I'm so glad I rediscovered my blender pen by Dove. I'm quite happy with that because I have a few water-based markers like probably everyone else. And I just added a background here with my paintbrush here, my water brush like this. So for the background, I didn't mind using my my water brush because I wanted that nice watercolory effect. I didn't want to be too precise about it. I also added some diamonds, diamond stickles, a few rhinestones, and a sentiment there. And I wanted to keep the rest simple because the stamp is quite detailed, and I wanted this to be the star of my card. While I was selecting the colors for my card, I also noticed that I had another marker in my Tombow collection. The cap is clear. It is the N00. I'm assuming N is for neutral, but it is also a wonderful blender pen for the Tombow markers. So if you own a lot of Tombow markers, you might want to pick that up. I know Natalie has ordered those as well. And I would also recommend to get the Dove blender pen for your other types of markers that you might have at home. But I know this one just happens to work beautifully with the Tombow markers. So I hope you'll give this coloring technique a try. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next week.